verse or chorus, and I'll tell you which is which. Then I'll tell you that this form is called an octastitch. I'm pants at reading music, and I don't have perfect pitch. But when it comes to writing songs, I've got to scratch that itch. HFO goes live on air, we all expect a glitch. 'Cause every show I do, I know that I will find a hitch. I'm not expecting what I do to ever make me rich. I'm having fun with making music here right now with you on Twitch. Good evening, good evening, good evening to Ryako Music. It's the 1st of April. It's a new month. Rabbits or pinch punch, 1st of the month, whatever cliched phrase you adopt for such things. It's Maunday Thursday. It's April Fool's Day. It's the day before Bandcamp Friday. Can barely hear you, says Ryako Music. That's interesting. I've got audio here. Let me turn that up a bit. How's that? Bit better? Hi, Mike Tango Charlie as well. Yeah, I've turned the volume up a bit, so I should be better now. I've got quite a lot to share with you tonight, which is surprising because I didn't think I would have. So, how are we all? First things first. Ryako Music, I hope you are not killing yourself working too hard for the vocalist producer challenge, but yes, Ryako Music has just responded, I'm dying from VPC. I knew it, absolutely knew it. You've got to look after yourself, mate. Don't kill yourself over it. It's music. Music should be enjoyable to make as well as listen to. Yes, array of emotions. Hello to you too, sir. I ate a couple of cough drops for lunch. Yes, very nutritious. That's primarily sugar with bits of menthol in them, I would imagine. So that's really going to make you feel better. Do look after yourself. I have been practicing self-care and staying out of here for a few days. But they're sugar-free, says Ryako. So there's just no benefit to them at all then, really. Frankly, if they haven't got sugar in them, then just no. Yes, I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff that is non-music related, but that's boring, so we won't talk about that. I have been preparing for Sunday, April the 4th, which is when 5090 the prequel gets underway. What's 5090 the prequel, you ask yourself? It's this. It's the idea that before 5090 finishes, or before 5090 even starts, which 5090 starts on July the 4th, some of us kind of can't wait that long. So we're going to write 50 songs in the 90 days before 5090 starts, and then we'll just move on and write another 50 songs in the 90 days between July the 4th and October the 1st. Ryako Music says, you guys are crazy. Pot kettle? Absolutely. You need your fix, says Array of Emotions. I've got to the point now where I'm beginning to want to make music again, which is quite interesting. I had that real dip through the second half of March where I really wasn't up to doing much of anything but this last couple of days. Been doing lots of tidying up and getting the house in order, which means I can then neglect it again for the next 180 days because I'll be full on into writing songs mode. And that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, is that what do you do to get into the headspace of wanting to make music? I mean, you, Riako Music, you make music. What do you do? What are the must-haves that you need before you know that a songwriting or a production or a recording session is going to work right? What are the things that put you in your comfort zone? What are the things that you need to do to prepare? For me, it's making sure that all my pens and my notepads are suitably full of ink. And I discovered just before I went on air that this one's nearly run out, so I need to do that. I need to have plenty of lyric writing notebooks to hand all over the house. Riaka Music says, I just need proper sleep. That helps a lot. I have had the weirdest dreams over the last few days, including hanging out. So I mentioned the fact on Twitter a couple of days ago that one dream, I appeared to be writing a song with Werner Herzog. That really has progressed, and a couple of nights ago I dreamt that I was hanging out at some form of songwriting event with something that was pretending to be David Bowie, and they looked like David Bowie, but curiously enough both it and I knew that it wasn't David Bowie. Which, I mean, sadly, David Bowie has passed away, but it was just really odd that the Thin White Duke should crop up in my subconscious meanderings late at night. Racket Music says, oh, and I have throat drops, gum and mints nearby. Mike Tango Charlie says, sounds like a scene from Flight of the Conchords. It may well turn out to be so. But the way I look at it is that having weird ass dreams like this means that my subconscious has clearly had enough of rest and recuperation and is going, right, if you're not making anything creative, then I'm going to do it for you while you sleep. Promising sign. So yes, 5090 the prequel starts on Sunday, so I will probably have a new song done for Sunday's show. Kind of think that we need a title for Sunday's show other than Is It Form Yet, because I've kind of spun out the Is It Form Yet title of the shows for 25 episodes. And I think with episode 26, which will be the episode on Sunday, it's about time we had a fresh start. So that's my job on Sunday, will be to write myself a new theme tune. And then that week, because it's Easter weekend, Maundy Thursday today, Good Friday tomorrow, Bank Holiday Monday on Monday, I'll shoot a new opening credit sequence and edit it down, and hopefully we'll have that ready to go by a week on Sunday. So yeah, preparing in here. Not that you'd know it, I have actually been tidying up. I have been moving things round, and I have rescued from the pile of crap that was in the front bedroom. It may even be in tune. It is in tune. This was a 25 quid job. Array of Emotions beat me to it. Is that the Oxfam guitar? He says, this is indeed the Oxfam guitar. 25 quid from the Lytham St Anne's branch of Oxfam many years ago, that my Aunt Mary, who had also sadly passed away, spotted for me and said, "Oh, there's a rather nice guitar in here. Do you want it?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, please." And it's turned out the intonation's a bit wonky, which I think is probably why whoever had it got rid of it. But it does the job. So yeah, that has been rescued from the pile of guitar cases and other accoutrements in the front bedroom. And I even rescued a guitar stand from the pile in there to put it on. So yeah, I've been doing that, been moving things round, been finding things that didn't work and cables and other stuff like that. So I think in here is pretty much good to go. And that is, I mean, not everybody clearly is privileged enough to have a workspace like this to just hide away in. But whatever your workspace is like, even if it's just a corner of the living room, it is worth putting your workspace in order. Because when you sit down, you want to be able to just pick up your lyric pad and get going, or pick up your guitar or your recorder or anything else and just get going with it, because you don't want anything to get in the way. Rev Emotions says, for the guitar, nice. It is. I mean, I always think of my Auntie Mary when I pick up that guitar, and it will, well, it quite obviously is known as the Oxfam guitar. What inspires you to write new stuff? Like I was saying with me, my subconscious clearly needed a break, but it looks like it's back in creative form now. Racco Music says, emotions, feelings, yes, very, very important for writing stuff, very, very important for creating, very, very important for inspiring you, whether it be love or joy or passion or anger or disgust or contempt, which, given the state of the affairs of the world at the moment, look like being quite large mines that are available with motherloads of creative goodness in them. A friend of mine posted an interview, I think with Rolling Stone, a few years before Leonard Cohen died. That was basically Bob Dylan talking about Leonard Cohen's songwriting process and picking the pieces or the songs that he thought were Leonard Cohen's best songs. I think the number one that he picked was The Law. Hallelujah was definitely in there. Sisters of Mercy was in there. And Dylan was saying just how important both melody and counterpoint were in Leonard Cohen's songs, which is never something I'd really sort of thought about, but he's not wrong. When I'm going into a songwriting event, I usually have challenges that I set myself, in addition to just coming up with a song every 2 days or so, of there being things in my work to date that I'm not satisfied with. So every challenge, every February album writing month, every 50/90, I want to work on something new. Stupid UK guy says, off topic, is that a Korg M3 behind you? Yes, it is. It's the M3 expanded, and it's got the extra memory in it, and it's got the Radius board in it. Hasn't got the Radius module, but it's got the Radius circuit board. And hello, good to see you again, Stupid UK guy. Yeah, so melody is something that I really fall into ruts with, and chord progressions I really fall into ruts with. So I have got multiple songs that I could sing on the recordings of other songs that I've written for other years' challenges. And I need to stop doing that. I need to be more adventuresome melodically. I need in the jargon of the business, I need to improve me top lines. I really, really do. That is one thing that I absolutely suck at. And how many songs have I written now? It's over 850 since I started doing these songwriting challenges. I need to be better at top lines. Rio Music says, wow, this is a problem I've never had. Yeah, but you can basically sing in more than one octave, which is something that I really struggle with. And the only times when you have encouraged me to push myself vocally, by the time I'd recorded the vocal take, I was on the floor in here. I literally could not stand up. So I'm not working it enough. I need to be better at picking interesting melodic lines. Reactor Music says that's how it should be. Yeah, you should not have anything left in the tank when you're producing and recording a song. It should all go into the microphone. You have to give it everything, says Reactor Music, and she's not wrong. But it's not just the physical effort of singing, it's the choice of notes, the choice of melody, the choice of counterpoint and everything else. It's something I need to work on during this upcoming songwriting challenge of writing, well, it's going to be writing 100 songs in the 180 days that start on Sunday. So yeah, no pressure there then. That's my main challenge, really, is to be melodically more inventive and less predictable, and basically just get out of the ruts. Stupid UK guy says, best of luck, 100 songs is incredible. It's doable. As I was saying before you joined us, there are 2 songwriting challenges that take place in the remainder of the year. So the main one is called 5090, and let's open a new challenge and go to the 5090 website. There you go. You write 50 songs in the 90 days between the 4th of July and the 1st of October. So 4th of July, 1st of October, 90 days, 50 songs. It'll be the 9th year that I've done 5090, and it's got to the point now where I've finished February album writing month, where you have to write 14 songs in the 28 days of February. Kind of overachieved on that and wrote 32, and it's something that I love doing. And because I can't wait till the 4th of July, and neither can quite a few of the other people who do February album writing month and 5090, we've set up, or last year, a few people set up a prequel challenge, which was 5090, 50 more songs in the 90 days between the 4th of April and the 3rd of July. So I didn't do it last year because I was in a pretty sorry state, because I have a kidney stone on my left kidney and a cyst on the other, and I was having multiple kidney infections and was basically just not in a good space. But I still did 5090. This year I'm feeling better, even though I'm still in the same physical shape that I was last year. And yeah, I need something to keep myself amused. I need something to show the good in the world. And quite frankly, I just need to do something that might make the world suck a little less for a few people who listen to my stuff. Stupid UK guy says, do you allow yourself prep before? I'm new to you, so you might already, but things like session templates and so on, I'm lucky if I can finish a single song in a year. Mate, I was even worse than you. In the 10 years before I signed up for these songwriting challenges, I wrote 3 songs, wrote and recorded 3 songs in 10 years. And yeah, I had no system. I had no approach, no method. It was just, oh, I'm inspired by the muse. I shall fire up my Fostex X15 multi-tracker and my JX3P, trusty JX3P up at the top there, and do something. And yeah, 3 songs in 10 years kind of sucked. Then Ryako Music was encouraged to join February Album Writing Month on a bulletin board / chat room that we both frequented back in the day, which was the William Gibson board, because we're pretty much all of the people here, both Mike Tango Charlie, Array of Emotions, Ryako Music, and myself, are rather big fans of William Gibson's work. So the guy who wrote Neuromancer and invented cyberpunk, the guy who wrote a short story called Johnny Mnemonic that you may have come across, a slightly good movie, or slightly good in a cheesy way movie, starring a certain Mr. Keanu Reeves with Ice Cube and Dolph Lundgren and a dolphin. And yeah, as Ryako Music says, WGB forever. And Array of Emotion says, we are such nerds. We are. This is a nerd-friendly stream. Believe me. I mean, most of these books in the shelves in here are my... And Henry... How could we forget Henry Rollins? And if you've not come across the Henry and Heidi podcast yet, Henry Rollins and Heidi Klum do a podcast. Subscribe. Just saying. So, yeah, Ryako Music points out that she did a music video a couple of years ago, which actually has William Gibson making a cameo. And they were reading a copy of the 40 Times, and Bill very, very kindly signed the copy that I had supplied. And my copy now says, to Chris, 40 yours, William Gibson. Oh, so it was lovely. Ryako Music says, I gave Henry a hug. What? This is... Right, your next stream on Wednesday, if you're doing a stream on Wednesday, I need to hear this story. In fact, I'm sure we all need to hear this story, because I was not aware of this. I saw Black Flag in the day, and Chelsea, and a few other bands at the Lyceum in London. And I'd completely forgotten about it until my brother reminded me about it. I said, can you remember anything about it? And he thought for a bit, and he just said, I remember Henry Rollins being very angry. But as Array of Emotion says, he's such a nice dude. Henry, but also Bill. Indeed. Okay, so, yeah. Songwriting challenges. That's my game plan from Sunday for the next 180 days. So basically, I'll be back with an excuse to write more songs in the 180 days up until 1st of October. But to go back to Stupid UK Guy's question, yeah, before February Album Writing Month, and Ryako signed up for it and said, Chris, you need to do this because this is your kind of thing. Oh boy, did it turn out not to be my thing the first year. First year, I wrote one song, right? I signed up with great expectations of being able to just blast through it, couldn't think of a thing. I was reading Neil Stephenson's massive monolithic book, Anathem, at the time. So eventually it was just, I'll just write a song called Anathem and make up lyrics about the plot. And that was my one song the first year that I did February Album Writing Month. I think the next year I did 3 songs, and I gradually got better, and I gradually started to understand the deal with sitting down and saying, I'm sitting at my desk, I am here, I am going to do the work. And that is why February Album Writing Month works its magic, because that's what taking part in February Album Writing Month leads you to discover, that it's not about sitting down waiting for that precious inspiration to strike. When you start writing songs, most of your songs are going to be terrible. I know mine were. I think you have to be a very unusual person to not write a lot of songs that suck. And part of the point of doing February Album Writing Month and doing 1590, and there are a number of other songwriting challenges that I know some of my friends do, but I've sort of stayed away in past years because otherwise I'll just go down the rabbit hole and I'll just be in here all day and the house will just disintegrate around me because I won't want to do anything else. But the point of these challenges is that it gets you through writing the crap songs and you learn a little bit about what makes a song not crap with every crap song that you write. And eventually you find yourself starting to write songs that kind of are not as much crap. Ryako Music says, my earliest songs were such crap and recorded on a laptop internal mic. Oh my goodness me. Well, mine were pretty much as bad, but is it there? No, it's not. I did have a dedicated microphone that I'd bought from Radio Shack. It was one of those little ones that they were basically throwaway dynamic mics that must have cost about £7 to make, that came when you bought cassette recorders and things like that. You know, the ones that are sort of beige, and they were terrible, and my vocals were terrible. But Mike Tango Charlie says, that's it, fail fast, fail often. Exactly so, because it goes back to Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers book, which is a misrepresentation of research done by a Danish educational psychology called Anders Johansson, I think his name was, who basically said that looking at people in various professions who were considered to be experts at doing something, they had all spent at least 10,000 hours in practice doing that thing. Part of the reason that Bill Gates got where he was that he was in contact with a bunch of people who had computers that he could play with after school. And he started doing that at the age of 15 or so. And by the time he hit his 20s, he'd done his 10,000 hours. He knew programming and computers backwards. Ryako Music says, we all sucked. It's okay. It is okay, because it's part of the process of becoming someone who does not suck. So, long story short is basically I cannot recommend signing up for February Album Writing Month or 1590 highly enough, because they change the way that you put songs together. And to answer your questions, yes, I now have templates. I have a template in my my DAW of choice, which is Ableton Live, and you can put together a set in Ableton. So mine's got a drums submix, so it's got Superior Drummer 3, which is what I use for my drum track, and there's also a gated reverb feed which takes the audio from the drums, and that means I can get that massive 80s Go West Phil Collins drum sound that I love. I have a template with an awful lot of guitar input tracks, because guitars. I have a synth submix, which is mainly for MIDI instruments, right? And then my vocal submix, if I feel like I might actually sing on something. So I have a vocal submix, and I split between verse and chorus, and there are multiple tracks. So if I decide I'm going to double track something, or I might split verse lines from handing off between two separate tracks, so that means that I can breathe more easily. And then I have an audio submix at the bottom, which is for things like the analog synths that I've got behind me, which is the JX3P, the Juno 106, the Juno 60, and the Korg M3. I've got a couple of others. I have a Moog Rogue and an original Whiteface ARP Odyssey kicking around in other places, but the Odyssey in particular does not really believe in staying in tune. The technology when the original ARP Odyssey was built did not include digitally controlled oscillators. So when the oscillators warm up, they change pitch, and that can be a bit of a bugger. So that's my main bunch of tracks. I've got 30 tracks. I then have a custom reverb send on it, which always uses Valhalla DSP's free, very, very excellent reverb plugin called Supermassive. If you haven't got it, do download it. Go to valhalladsp.com, download Supermassive. They also have a space modulator, which is a bit like the chorus. And I have a delay as well for sends, and neither of these are the default ones that you get in Ableton's setup when you install Ableton Live. And then you just go up here and do save live set as template, which I've already done, and then save live set as default set. And once you've done that save live set as default set, and if you have a DAW that's different to this, so you might have Cakewalk, for instance, which is completely free for PC users. If you've got a Mac, you're sorted, because you have GarageBand, which comes pre-installed on your system. So there are other DAWs available. Cubase, Pro Tools, PreSonus Studio, the lot, they all have the ability to create templates. I really recommend making a template that suits the music that you make, and then saving that as your default template in Ableton. I tend to switch genres, mash up genres quite a lot, so I have a bunch of different templates, right? And I also use a number of very, very good free orchestral plugins. So if you're not familiar with Spitfire Audio, go to the Spitfire Audio website. In fact, I'll show it you. Why not? Let's go there now. Founded by Paul Thompson and Gavin Henson. Lovely, lovely people. If you go to the products page, which will eventually... Right, I bought this on Sunday, Mrs. Mills Piano. It's brilliant. So it's super bright. It's called Mrs. Mills Piano because Mrs. Mills used it to record all her hits. If you've ever watched snooker in the UK, you might be familiar with the black and white rag that was performed by Russ Conway. It was recorded on Mrs. Mills Piano. It was also used quite extensively by a beat combo from the Liverpool area, I believe. Lady Madonna, according to Sir Paul McCartney, that was the piano that he used for Lady Madonna. It's also used in I Get By with a Little Help from My Friends. It's also the guitar in the Saloon Brawl section of Rocky Raccoon. It's a fantastic sound, very, very bright piano. Right, okay, Spitfire Audio, BBC Symphony Orchestra. So won loads and loads of awards. It comes in a bunch of flavours. You've got Discover, which is 350 megabytes. It's tiny. And you can buy it right now for £49. Or if you fill in a questionnaire, which is literally Do you record music? What sort of music do you record? How often do you record? Do you like us? And you sign up for their mailing list, you download the Spitfire Audio app, and 2 weeks later, the Spitfire Audio app will go, you own the BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover package. Would you like to install it? At which point you say, oh, yes, please. It comes in its own plugin, so you don't need Contact or anything else like that. And you literally click there where it says all free and download it. I loved it so much that I have now upgraded to the core package. Not only that, I also have quite a few other Spitfire Audio plug-in instruments. And it was all as a result of downloading the BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover package. And if you'd told me, 2 years ago, oh, you'll be writing orchestral music now, I would have just laughed at you. But let's call up the BBC Symphony Orchestra package, shall we? Because it is absolutely staggeringly good. So yeah, I have rather a lot of Waves plugins, I know. BBC Symphony Orchestra, right? So come on, there we go. So we'll pick that synth track. We'll drop the BBC Symphony Orchestra into that. So I have a Native Instruments MIDI controller, which is why all my synth tracks usually look at that. See, we're back to the curse, aren't we? Array of Emotions. I've broken Ableton again, and I know why as well. All right, I'm going to give it another go. Can't guarantee it's going to work, but I know what's happened, right? Because I've been doing this long enough. The French Doggy, hello, no, long time no see. Lovely to see you, mate. Live unexpectedly quit. Yeah, no shit, it unexpectedly quit. Right, see there. See, it says live version 11.0.2. Live updated itself doing its download thing today. That's what breaks my Ableton, I reckon. I have noticed that behavior of adding a plugin, and then when I drop something into Ableton gets very unstable, only happens once Ableton has updated itself, rather than me going to the website and downloading the latest version from the live website. So if we go, and I mean 11.0.2 release notes fixed some licensing issues. Right. So yeah, what I'm going to have to do, I think, when this show is finished, is I'll go over to Live, I'll log in, I'll download a proper installer rather than relying on the installer that Live has that invisibly updates things in the background. Because, yeah, invisible updates in background bit does not work. So shall we try again? What I'll do, instead of using a VST3, I will use a VST2, because maybe that's less challenging. Is this going to fall over? No, it's happy with the VST2. So yeah, maybe it's VST3s it doesn't like. Anyway, so this is what the core package for Spitfire Audio's BBC Symphony Orchestra package looks like if you've got core. But I'm going to switch that to Discover. So this is what you get in Discover. So core's like 4-6 gigabytes of sounds. There's shitloads of stuff in core. The professional version is even bigger. It's ridiculously large. But as I say, the BBC Discover package is tiny. It's like 350 megs, and you get an entire orchestra. So you get horns. And I mean, it's worth it. Just the brass section is incredible. You get different articulations. So, what other brass do you get? You get tubas. And if you've got a mod wheel, you really start. You can really start to make something sound really, really impressive. Bass trombones. Listen to the rasp on that, eh? So I'm a huge evangelist for the BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover package. On February Album Writing Month, I'm well into double figures of the number of people I've talked into downloading it because it is superb, and I am so here for the cellos. But you also get some lovely other articulations. And the tremolo's rather splendid as well. Harp. Lovely Celeste. The Celeste in the Discover package is particularly great. And horns we've covered. What have we got? Percussion, timps. You might have realised that at this point I'm rather a fanboy. So gong, perfect gong. Tubular bells, anyone? So you get an awful lot for your money for free. With Core, you do get significantly more. So the tuned percussion, you get different mic positions, you get more controls, so you can control tightness, you control direction where they are, panning and things like that. So there's the strings also are a lot more complicated because you have double the number of articulations. So you get collegno, which is when you actually slap the bow across the fingerboard. Have you ever heard that? So there are some, and flautando, which is another one. So you get flute-like. So at Christmas, basically, they knocked £100 off the upgrade from Discover to Core. Couldn't resist. So there you have it. Really, really, really good set of orchestral arrangement tools for you to start making your own. Mike Tango Charlie's, I've just noticed the chat. Pot Black. Pot Black was, so basically from the 70s onwards, the BBC were, well, they still do cover pretty much all the main snooker championships in the UK. So Hurricane Higgins and all that lot. And Pot Black was a half-hour show. And, I mean, so Pot Black's referee, because you have referees in snooker, right? They had a referee called Len Ganley, who would stay like that, very, very portly, imposing gentleman with about as much hair as I have. Len Ganley became a national hero because he would tell Hurricane Higgins, who was like the wild boy of snooker. Yeah, I mean, it was like snooker as rock and roll in the 70s and 80s. It really was. Half Man, Half Biscuit ended up writing a song called Do the Len Ganley Stance. And it was literally a dance craze where people had to stand like that to officiate during snooker matches. So there you go. Record Music says of the strings. Oh, that freaked out Mr. Pickles. It does sound cool. It really does. Right, free stuff. We like free stuff on this show. I remember a few weeks ago I was talking about the Sign player from Orchestral Tools. Got an email from them today. Well, not today, a couple of days ago, which basically said, you signed up for our email list and thank you. Here's another instrument we've added to your Sign player. So if I go to, here's one I prepared earlier, right? So Sign, it's an embedded player that will also run standalone. So you don't need to chuck it in your DAW. You can literally just run it from your desktop. When you install it, you have a bunch of licenses. These are my licenses. So they're all free. So Layers is an orchestral scoring tool, bit like BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover. There's Gearbox, which is studio percussion. There's a fairly decent grand piano if you've not got Piano in 162, which is pretty much the best free piano out there. Then do track it down. There's a nice string ensemble, and they've just added this Rotary, which is big band horns, and it does what it says on the tin, I have to say. What do you get? You get, let's browse it. This is what you get. So you get a solo trumpet, and let's go for a tree recording of that, shall we? Whoops. And we'll pick the staccatissimo. So here we go. This is what this one sounds like. Don't like that. All right, how about a marcato long? It's a bit quiet, isn't it? We can turn that up a bit, I think. Let's do it that way. So it's interesting the samples overlap. So it's not... It has weird idiosyncrasies, I have to say. And if I remove the solo trumpet and we go to the brass section itself, it's a bit shrill, I thought. So let's try the sustains. I mean, that's pretty good for free. Come on, let's and Ryaka Music says, I mean, at least it's free. The shakes are quite nice. I mean, instant yellow, right? And that's going to get used. So, and scoops. So one of the other orchestras that I have is Spitfire Audio's Abbey Road 1, and that has whole orchestral sections of swells, and I use those in the theme tune to the show. So the top of the show, the bit with my triple track guitar solo, has Abbey Road 1 swells going on underneath, but those, you know, see what I mean about it sounding a bit shrill? It doesn't really, just doesn't quite sound real somehow. Could just be me, but it's free. So you go to Orchestral Tools' website, you sign up and install the Sign player, which that is, and you can download those. I downloaded them yesterday and been playing around with them. So yeah, kind of like that. That's not all I've been playing around with though, because I've also been doing the rounds of plugins that I've had for a while, right? So this week it was the turn of my full bucket synthesizers to get have things updated since I actually installed Full Bucket's website stuff, and it turns out they have. So if you're not familiar with Full Bucket stuff, let's go over to their website. They have a bunch of things. They have a rather splendid emulation that's kind of the Korg 3300 polysynth, and it's been updated and it's rather slick. The interface is lovely. It's very, very easy to use, even though it looks intimidating. There it is. So that's what the old Korg 3300's control panel more or less looked like, right? Glorious, glorious sounds. Bunch of presets in it. So, French Dogie, is this your kind of thing, or are you more the sort of trancey thing? Because there's some lovely. So you've got a bit of bit crushing in it. Will he make it to the airport in time? Does he know the bomb's about to go off? I mean, there's just so many glorious things that just instantly inspire you to write tracks. And this is one of the things that I love about downloading another free instrument is that suddenly just hearing a sound might inspire me to write a complete song just as a result of hearing that sound. That's what I love about plug-in synths, that you can literally do it instantly. That sounds nuts, says Ryako Music. Oh man, there are so many great ones. Yeah, shouldn't have eaten that curry before showing the show. And you know me, I'm all about the reverb. So if you drop that into supermassive, which of course I'd set up on the send on here, instantly sounds thousands of times better, doesn't it? So that's Full Bucket's FB 3300. That was literally updated 2 weeks ago. So it's now at version, doesn't say somewhere, but it says on the website, doesn't it? Where we go. Version 1.1.5 came out on the 17th of March. So even if you've got it, download it again, install the new version, because it's rather splendid. I love that, says Ryako Music. There's more. Not only do I have their emulation of the Korg 3300, I also have their Modulaire 64, which is a do-it-yourself modular synthesizer. So you can pull out bits and install bits, and it's even more fat. So you notice there's some plugins in the effects chain at the bottom here for this track, and that's because if you're finding that you've not installed any new synthesizers and the synthesizers you've got are feeling a bit stale, there is one thing that you can do very easily with synthesizers. Let's just close that for a minute so you can see this. So this is Ableton's built-in oscilloscope or spectrogram, right? It's like 80s television science programs. And it's not a bad sound, but if you drop a guitar overdrive pedal into it, watch how all the waveforms suddenly get a little bit busier and a little bit more complicated, and what that does to the sound. So if I hold one note and cut the guitar pedal in and out, you can see what the waveform does. See all the harmonic series, and there's very little in between the harmonic series. So any guitar fuzz pedal on a synthesizer instantly makes it sound hundreds of times better. And what else have I got here? I've also got my favourite chorus pedal, which equally does wonderful things. So here's the fuzzed synth, and then with chorus on it. I'm a bit of a Waves fanboy, but if you go to the Waves website, you can download that chorus, which is called Mondo Mod, and it's become my default chorus of choice. It's currently $24 at the moment, because Waves always have a 40% off sale going on. If they don't, then wait half an hour and they'll probably have started another one. So $24, mondomodwaves.com. Highly recommended. There are some glorious presets. You can seriously mess up a synthesizer using MondoMod. Let's open up the package and I'll go through some of the other presets. So that's the S-Type Surround Synths preset. And we're into Doctor Who sound effects. So I'm not doing anything to the synthesizer preset. I'm literally just changing the chorus preset. So serious bit of auto panning going on with that one. More of a throb than a chorus, that really, isn't it? It's called wow. I guess that's probably why. So if we've got wow, there's bound to be flutter as well. And there is. Riako Music says, it looks intimidating, but I'm going to need to get this. It's really simple. I mean, it's chorus depth on that side, frequency modulation depth on that side, output gain, so you can gain match, so you're not doing anything weird. You can change the waveform from sines to all sorts of interesting ones like saw down, which might be if we... Oh, that's rather nice, isn't it? That's kind of useful. And of course, if we drop the old favourite, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that, shall we? If we drop the old favourite Valhalla into it as well, it sounds even better. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to save that because I think I'm going to be using that. That's rather splendid, is it not? So, yeah, there. I think that was basically the only... Yeah, so the two full bucket synths, the FB 3300 and the Modulaire synth, have both had refreshes this last month or so. So Mike Tango Charlie says, low budget 80s sci-fi soundtrack incoming. Oh, you know me too well, you really do. But yeah, so to reiterate, Waves MondoMod, yours for the princely sum of $24. Full Bucket Music, which is fullbucket.de/music, and or just search for Full Bucket. There's the FB 3300. They do a whole bunch of other stuff that I really must avail myself of. So they really like emulating Korgs, don't they? And given that I've got the M3 there and a whole bunch of other Korg gear, including a D3200 multi-tracker here, I'm a bit of a Korg fanboy, so these will probably end up getting installed as well. And the other one is Modulaire, which is a fully modular synthesizer that you can build your own plugins and whatever else. 64 voice polyphony, wow. And yeah, works for Windows and Mac. And it's free, but there is a donate button. So we covered that. We've covered that. We've covered 5090, which starts on Sunday. We've covered 5090 the real 5090, which starts on July the 4th. We've covered templates. We've covered loads and loads of stuff. What else was I did have actually more things that I wanted to talk to you about. The most important one is what day it is tomorrow. It's the first Friday of the month tomorrow. And that means it's Bandcamp Friday. And as they have done since the pandemic started to hit, Bandcamp will be waiving their revenue share for all sales that take place on the Bandcamp website between the hours of 8 a.m. Yes, it will be still 8 a.m. because America's moved as well. It's midnight to midnight on Friday Pacific time, which works out at 8 a.m. Friday to 8 a.m. Saturday morning British summertime. So 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. Saturday morning Central European time. If you buy stuff on Bandcamp between those two times, then any artist you buy gets roughly 10% more of their revenue than they would do on any other day of the week. And just saying, I have an extensive discography of singles and albums available on Bandcamp for you to peruse, the latest of which being the highlights of songs that I originally wrote for February Album Writing Month in February 2021, but quite a few of them I listened to them afterwards and thought, yeah, I could do better. And so I did. So, for instance, one track, somebody said, that almost sounds like it could have been a haiku, but it wasn't. And it's like, well, that's not good enough. So I went back and I rewrote it. And now it is a haiku. And because it's only 1 minute and 4 seconds long, I'm going to play it you because I like it. And this is what it sounds like. It's called Audience Panda. Some people believe that a pop song's perfect length is 60 seconds. This song was written just for them. And it's now going to play the rest of the album, which you will have to listen to on your own time. That can be your homework for next week. Listen to what I did during February, which is, strangely enough, the name of the album, What I Did in February by me. So yeah, there are many, many other people on Bandcamp who have glorious music. They Might Be Giants have a whole bunch of very rare and difficult to come by albums now available on Bandcamp, and they keep on putting more on, and so every Bandcamp Friday I go back to see if there's any more, and I have filled in a considerable number of the gaps in my musical collection. Wobby, good evening and welcome. Riaka Music says it's very upbeat. Yeah, and so I was saying one of the challenges that I've set myself for 5090, the prequel, and ostensibly for 5090 itself, is to push myself melodically and do less predictable, less cliched less familiar top lines and melodies and chord progressions and everything else. So that's one of the things I want to work on, but I also want to be more upbeat. And if there is one person amongst us who can write upbeat songs, it's Wobby. And yeah, how are you doing, mate? I hope you're doing okay. Given the state of the world at the moment, I think we really do need to focus on bringing more music into the world and making things suck a bit less than they do. Wobby is doing another one of her Facebook parties on Tuesday, which, if memory serves, will be the 6th. And yours truly might actually be performing a piece, if yours truly gets off his backside and actually finishes writing it and then records it. But Wobby is going to be celebrating with her friends World Epitaph Day. Now, there's a thing. So the last one that I was able to take part in was World Plumbing Day. Reactor Music says, I'll be watching and cheering you all on. It will be glorious because they always are great fun. So that's on Tuesday. I'll be back on Sunday, hopefully with a title for the new show, which I'll be doing on Sundays, because now that February album writing month is a thing of the distant past, I need a new title for Sunday's show, because Is It Form Yet is kind of needs to be retired after 25 shows. So yeah, that will be my challenge, and I will share with you on Sunday night show, which will be at 2100, the outcome of my songwriting ability. Reactor Music says, is it 5090 yet? Well, there's sort of, is it 5090 the prequel yet? Is challenging from a meter perspective, I would have said. So I've got to come up with something. And like, I don't want to be predictable or cliched, so I've got to come up with something and then not sing it in a 145 blues progression with keyboards or Sunday sounds, says Riako. Or there are so many childhood memories of listening to appallingly cheesy radio shows on the home service, because we didn't have Radio 1, 2, 3 or 4 back when I was a kid. It was the home service. And yes, light entertainment. And there were shows like Sing Something Simple with the Mike Sams singers and David Jason presenting. No, not David Jason. David Jacobs presenting. Or occasionally people like Bob Monkhouse or Frank Jaffa was another one. What's the home service, says Riako. It was the forerunner of Radio 2. So it was, you know, the sort of station where you'd tune and you might hear children's programs, songs like Nellie the Elephant or musical stuff, or Jimmy Young was a disc jockey who would also present. But there was Sunday Family Favourites, which was presented, and this is the callback, the mother of all callbacks, right? There was a show on Sundays called Family Favourites that was presented by Gene Metcalf. And Gene Metcalf was married to Cliff Mitchellmore. And Cliff Mitchellmore's son, Guy Mitchellmore, is the guy who does all the ThinkSpace videos on YouTube. So it's to him raving about the Native Instruments S88 Mark II that I have this monster hidden away on my desk. But yes, I'm not exactly sure how we ended up on Sunday Sounds. Yes, I need a new title for Sunday Show, so that will be my challenge over the next few days, is to write a theme tune for, well, no, not the next few days. I have to do it on the Sunday because, as was pointed out earlier, do you prepare in advance for these challenges? No, that's kind of the deal, is that you don't prepare in advance. The deal is that you sit down with a blank sheet of paper in front of you when the challenge starts, and that's when you say, okay, Muse, now you've got to do your stuff. And it's amazing how, from going to maybe producing 3 tracks in 10 years, of then doing 32 tracks in the 28 days of February. All right, it takes some time to get there, but you begin to realize that it's doable, that all of these challenges are eminently doable, and doing them will make you a better songwriter in the process. So, as I said earlier on in the show, really, really recommend signing up for February Album Writing Month. Really recommend signing up for 5090. I'll put the URLs of both those challenges up on the show notes for the YouTube version of this show. Did I mention that I have a YouTube channel? He said, blatting my Stream Deck with a nice chat intervention for that. So there you go. There will be all the links to the stuff that I've mentioned in the show, and I'll probably even get carried away and put subtitles in on the show, because that's kind of my thing, and quite often the subtitles are much more coherent than I am during the show itself. However, on that note, I've been going, it's about an hour and 20 minutes. I'm not quite in as bad a shape as I was on Sunday's show. I cringed when Array of Emotions posted his little bit of video from the back garden in Bruges this afternoon, hitting the catkins on the tree by the back door and releasing a cloud of pollen, or as Hassa put it, tree sperm. And I actually started sneezing just in sympathy watching that video. That's how bad it was. I've actually seen something similar of a guy doing the same sort of thing, but to an entire tree. I think he had a baseball bat, and he just hits this tree trunk, and the entire tree just deluges him in yellow pollen. And Array of Emotions says, I cut the bit of the video off where I'm recoiling from the cloud. I would have been inside through as many layers of glass, polythene, and probably lead as I could manage, although I have had the windows open here this evening because it was a little bit stuffy in here earlier. And as a result, I can feel my sinuses are going right now. So I'll knock it on the head for this evening and go have another sneezing fit. It's quite bad right now, says Ryako Music. I can't remember it being this bad this earlier in the year for me, because I'm normally suffering from about the tail end of April to about halfway through July, and then finally all the grass pollen starts disappearing and it's like I can breathe again. But right now, yeah, I'm being clobbered. Array of Emotion says the entire back area is just completely covered in pollen. Oh, yeah, you have my sympathies. If you suffer from hay fever, you have my absolute and heartfelt sympathies. You really do. So, yeah, I am going to go off and have a sneezing fit. I will be back on Sunday with a new theme tune, although I probably will just run the opening credits as per normal because I won't have had time to shoot a video because I'm lazy and it's the weekend and it's bank holiday weekend and there's other stuff to do. I will be back here because this was show number 46, so I'll be back here next week on Thursday at 7:30 British summertime with show number 47. And one final shout out to this guy, because Mr. Derek Dick tomorrow will be running his 52nd episode of his live stream show on Facebook. Just search for Fish on Facebook. The Fish on Friday live stream is just a delight. I've been watching it pretty much since he started doing these, and yeah, he'll have been going an entire year doing those live streams from his couch, from the funny farm up in East Lothian. They're well worth watching. Array of Emotion says, so did you sneak in an April Fool's in the stream somewhere? No, there's a museum in Reading called the Museum of English Rural Life. Right, they're the museum with the really spot on Twitter account. Right, so the Museum of English Rural Life, right, have a Twitter account and they also have a website, and today's website features a story that they're calling The Tractor Whisperers. And I would remind you on my Bandcamp page that my latest album, What I Did in February, features a track called Stranger Tractor. And yeah, a lot of this is actual really good rural archive stories of rural life with tractors. But it does get occasionally a little bit silly, and it did make me laugh when I got to this bit and the paragraph was Agents of Field. I that's pretty good, isn't it? And the photograph of the stealth tractor, that actually I think is probably the funniest April Fool's story that I've heard for many years, because with fake news and just the state of the world, just so many of the big corporate behemoths going, oh, look at us, we're all funny just like you human mortals. And they're not. But the Museum of English Rural Life is an exception, and that did make me laugh. So, Array of Emotions. I hope that answers your question. And do go over to merl.reading.ac.uk and check out their website, because they're a fun museum. They really are. And any museum that can put a call out on Twitter that just says, yo, Twitter, give us your best ducks, that then gets people like the Smithsonian responding. I mean, they're doing it right. That's what social media should be about. It should be about fun. It should be about communication. It should be about education. And it should be about making the world not suck as badly. And with that little diatribe, I will go off because a sneezing fit awaits me. I will see you back here on 9 o'clock British Summer Time on Sunday. I will see you back here at 7:30 p.m. next Thursday. And if you want to join us on Facebook on Fish on Friday, that starts at 1800 British Summer Time over on Fish's Facebook page. If you want to join us for Wobby's World Epitaph Day show, that's on Tuesday on Wobby's Facebook page. Mike Tango Charlie says, until next time, later people. Indeed, Nick, have a good one. Have a good one all. Take care of yourselves. Whatever you're doing, please stay safe, stay well, stay sane, stay Wayne. obey social distancing rules. Please continue to wear masks wherever, because they do still make a difference, despite various numpties who I am no longer following on Twitter claiming that they do not. They do. Don't listen to the idiots. Listen to me. I know of what I speak. Take care all.